Leadership responsibility. Satan incited David to take a census of Israel. 1 Chronicles 21:1. Fresh from a major victory over the Philistines, King David made a major mistake. Instead of trusting God for his next battle, he conducted a census designed to measure his military power and determine his chances of winning. As a result, 70,000 Israelites perished. This story teaches us three very important lessons about leadership responsibility. The first lesson is that as a leader, you're Satan's special target. He knows that in order to get to others, he must go through you. So he will use every strategy he has to bring you down. Satan rose up against Israel and incited David to take a census. The average board of directors would probably have considered it a good idea, but God saw it as an act of arrogance and unbelief. The second important lesson is don't be presumptuous. Don't let your last victory make you overconfident about your next battle. There will never be a time when you don't need God. The fact that God had just granted David a great victory should have made him more, not less, dependent on God. Paul wrote, "Not that we are competent in ourselves to claim anything for ourselves, but our competence comes from God. He has made us competent." 2 Corinthians 3:5-6. The third important lesson is listen to wise counsel. Joab, one of David's generals, warned him he was making a grave mistake. The king's word, however, overruled Joab. 1 Chronicles 21:4. You may have great gifts, but you don't have all the gifts. Where you have blind spots, others often have a 20/20 vision. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. So listen to the people God put in your life to guide and protect you. Our competence comes from God. He has made us competent. 2 Corinthians 3:5-6. David was on a roll. He kept winning battle after battle. He had the Midas touch. Everything he touched turned to gold. But success can get to your head, and David wasn't exempt. He started wondering, just how strong are we? At that point, he conducted a census and discovered he had 1,100,000 fighting men in 1 Chronicles 21:5. That could tempt any of us to think, with an army this size and given our track record of success, who needs to pray for God's help or ask him for a plan? That was the point at which God stepped in and judged David, and 70,000 Israelites died needlessly in verse 14. That's 1 Chronicles 21:14. So here's another aspect of leadership you need to be aware of. Your mistakes have the potential to hurt others. You're not just accountable to those who are over you, you're responsible for those under you. After all, if your good decisions have the ability to bless and guide people, your bad decisions have the potential to harm them. David said to God, "Was it not I who ordered the fighting men to be counted? I, the shepherd, have sinned and done wrong. Let your hand fall on me and my family, but do not let this plague remain on your people." That's 1 Chronicles 21:17. God graciously answered David's prayer and judgment was lifted from Israel. So, you need God's guidance for your own sake, the sake of the people around you, and to give you the grace to accept responsibility when you fail. Don't try to hide your failures, blame others, or run from God. Acknowledge them, grow through them, and go on to become wiser.